The back of beyond control. Stand by for map reference.
Strange, true stories. They're incredible, but seeing is believing.
Repeat. 11772.
Jean Savelow was never to see her husband alive again. On a spring morning in 1920, Ralph Fitzjohn made his early morning collection of driftwood from the remote beach he had come to regard his own. He was surprised to find on this particular morning a small rowing boat had been washed up by the night tide. This is Ralph Fitzjohn's meticulous diary, recording the events of the following 2 weeks without passion or moral judgment, telling a story that would frighten most of us were we part of it. Luckily, most of us never will be. As he approached the rowing boat, Ralph knew by some seafaring instinct exactly what he'd find in it. It was a young man, barely alive. His name was Leonard Beaton, the only survivor of a wrecked whaling ship.
Welcome once again to the Vintage Quiz, the show with beautiful cars, beautiful women, beautiful memories, and the show as well with Lord Montague of Bewley. Yes. Johnny White said you could bring Nan, Pearl, Rose or Tess, but who couldn't you bring?
You know that one too. You can bring Lulu. Don't bring Lulu. Lulu is a No, forget it.
Well, that's the right answer, ladies and gentlemen. Well, it's almost worth a round of applause.
I think so. Very good. We're not used to having family people on the show.
It's almost worth 5 extra points for the actual... Yes, we're agreed. Extra 5 points, please. Right, Suzanne, whose doorstep was immortalised in a famous song from 1925? It was...
Right. A 1 and a 2 and a 3. There's 10 points for those, I reckon. 10 points.
If there's one thing Audrey Blunt likes, it's a first-rate murder. When Jeans Jensen, the one-time pop star, ends up strangled and stuck in a rough grave up on the Downs, Audrey goes straight to his home, Craven Manor, with a bag full of questions for the people she finds there. Just to recap, Jensen's manager, Ralph Urban, who'd hoped to secure a comeback for his protégé and write a biography. Mrs. Rumley Dorchester, the manor's original owner, regretting the sale ever since. Jensen's half-brother, Charlie Flake, hoping for yet another loan. Scriven the butler, ever resentful of having to be Jensen's lackey.
Oh, I'm so sorry to interrupt. A little coffee morning? Why, yes, just so. Would you care for a cup?
Scrivens, perhaps you'd be so kind.
The lid of the jar's on too tightly for me, madam. A touch of arthritis, you know. I do beg your pardon.
Servants, really. One has to do everything oneself these days.
Please don't bother. I shall call back another time.
You didn't ask a single question, Auntie.
Didn't need to, my dear. I'm almost sure that one of them's innocent now.
I smell the conspiracy. All 3 of them in it together.
Hardly. Mrs. Rumley Dorchester isn't the type to socialise with a butler and a car.
Then why the coffee session?
At a guess, she's considering buying back the manor, and she's been sounding them out about remaining on staff.
Aldershot Stadium in Hampshire. It has a place in motor racing's elite, just about as high as jellied eels on Egon Ronay's shopping list. The cars are wrecks and the prize money's peanuts. But so what? Even at the cheap end, they play for real when the race is on. Souped up, so that even a modest Ford Escort, one previous owner, careful lady driver, used only for shopping.
The race is on.
How do you think I feel? If you had to go 159 miles, wouldn't you feel nervous? Shave off.
It's 3 o'clock in the middle of the night. Time for Steve Upton to rise and shine. Ahead of him, 5 hours of daily training for the quadrathon.
I can cycle reasonably well, but after you've walked 31 miles, your legs know all about it. It's mind over matter thing. Hey!
16 hours, 26.
The race is on.
The Irish in Pizzazz love the rough seas, but Trevor Kirby in Conundrum has too many answers. The wily old fox has mastered the conditions and forges ahead. Others are having their problems. Peter Sharp is the first of many to suffer this indignity. Kirby wins, but Peter Sharp and his crew are still trying to get their act together.
Asking from you?
The supply of personnel to ensure that he got in power and stayed in power.
How many men was he talking about?
Initially, an operation of 500 men.
What did he offer you?
Well, I mean, he made suggestions.
When you say this is just like any other job, but in fact, it is a job that involves killing. I mean, have you ever killed anybody?
Yeah, but I can't really count the numbers.
Breathing in deeply, tuning into yourself.
The start of one of the most peculiar courses in the world, a seminar at Stansted Hall in Essex on how to become a medium. This college and everything that goes on inside it is rooted in one of life's great mysteries. Is there life after death? Do you have a spirit guide to help you?
Yes, I do. A Chinaman. He's called Chang, and often he comes along with his family.
An old, wise Chinese man. He looked like that, yeah.
What's his name?
I won't tell you. That's private to me.
If all thieves looked like this, there would be no need for this program. Unfortunately, they don't.
I have an urgent security message about a suspected shop thief.
Male suspect trying to steal items
Male,
on the
age 23 to 25, 5'6".
Wearing blue
thin build.
jeans, a brown blouse-on-style
But
jacket.
he's in possession of a large blue sports bag.
Could you please pass the message on to the next one on the list?
7 times now, Bill Bryson has been caught shoplifting. What's the biggest haul that you've had?
From one particular store, you mean? Well, I have had 60 bottles of spirits from one supermarket here in Guildford.
Over what period of time?
About 4 weeks.
Did they notice?
I suppose they must have noticed eventually.
Did they catch you?
No.
Bill Bryson is unemployed. He started shoplifting in the Portsmouth area 3 years ago.
Well, at the time I was living in a hotel, living on Social Security.
Ignore the ladies. Watch the man taking goods from his wire basket and concealing them in a cardboard box.
Please follow.
The evidence is recorded, and most stores prosecute as a matter of principle. This video shows a woman stealing balls of wool.
Over the next 7 weeks, 36 youngsters will be endeavouring to become the star kid of 1983. Let us now meet and welcome this week's star kids. First of all, in yellow, from Hampshire, Mandy. In red, from Essex, Jackie. From the west, in orange, Richard. From Kent, in purple, Simon. From Berkshire, in blue, John. And from Sussex, in green, Debbie. So, there are 5 games. In each game, 5 points for the second place, 6 for the first, all the way down to 1 point for the last place person. There's a super trophy to be won for the star kid of 1983, and the winner from this heat will go forward to the grand final. Right, let's have the first of 5 games. And to tell us now about that game, which is the obstacle race, let's have a very warm welcome for the man who thought of Star Kids. You may just have heard of him before. Here he is, Laurie McMenemy.
Thank you very much, Fred. Straight on with the obstacle course. Tyres you can see laid out, a foot into each of the 8 tyres. Then onto the upturned bench. Balance is needed, not as good as me, but you've got to go right to the end, otherwise you start again.
Referee Bob Higgins starts them off. John from Berkshire on the far side, Debbie from Sussex on the near side, and that time to beat again, 20.6. And it's going to be a much closer race, this one. Well, John's done well, but not quite good enough. 24.8. It's game 3 now, a BMX race. It's against the clock, and this is Jackie from Essex.